Wait. Can we start off the episode first
By clinking it.
Here
you go. Down the hatch.
That was a sloppy clink.
Now we gotta say, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Oh my god. Jesus.
The Night King's dead.
It is dead. Now, before we start, shall we rate the episode?
Yeah,
thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Why?
All right, this is why we have diverse opinions.
So,
all of us.
we're doing visual things here. Shawn is full thumbs up, Arturo is like halfway, and I'm thumbs down.
Yeah, I guess I am the mediator.
Well, now you will be. Game of Thrones spoilers ahead.
Okay, well, let's start things off on a positive note. Shawn, what did you like about the episode?
Absolutely nothing. I think it was really good. Not just visuals, because we have to expect that, but I mean, the acting was great, and the story. There are a few things, I mean, as I'm sure everyone has, a few things I don't agree with, or at least I wouldn't have done. But I think overall, I think it keeps with the unexpected nature of Game of Thrones that you've kind of come to expect.
You expect the unexpected.
You're expecting to not know what's going to happen next and not to be able to predict what happens next. And I don't think a lot of people predicted that ending.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Some people did. I saw
some
online.
people did, yeah. I mean, there's always a few that have predicted.
As soon as she started talking about the blue eyes with Melisandre, it was like, okay, this is where they're going with this.
So,
but I want to say that no other Game of Thrones episode, not even the what was it, the Light of the Seven episode where Cersei blows up the Sept of Baelor. I don't think any other episode has made me feel like that much anxiety when watching it the entire time, like a roller coaster. There's points where it felt like you were going up and points where you were like holding on for dear life, like, oh no, what the hell is happening to all these people? And like the fact that it was dark as hell and you couldn't tell who half these people were in the lighting also added to that.
I thought it took away from it, but we can get into that later. That's one of my down points.
It took away from it too, but I mean, it added to the effect of like not knowing like who the hell is gonna live. That anxiety, like holding on for dear life to this episode until the very end.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, no one cares about the medium, so let's go straight to the bad.
No.
Just in general.
I want to hear why. Well, let's hear about Yeston's, and let's hear why yours is so middle ground.
After the opposite,
yeah.
for sure.
There was a quote on Free Folk. It was like, they had plot armor thicker than Pod's rod, which I think is very accurate. How many times did Sam die? Like 17. It looked like Sam was gonna die. Here's the thing.
And Jamie and Brienne.
Yeah, I like the way this was filmed. I like that it was at night, and I didn't like that at first, but then when they had the Dothraki ride off and just slowly you see, that was so well done.
That was epic.
And I thought, oh wow, what's going to happen here? And then the fact that you see, the Unsullied just get obliterated by this like liquid of undead is super cool. But then there was so little actual loss at the end that I felt like it was all just sort of spectacle and it was not really any substance. And I get that they need characters for whatever comes after this, but it felt like it was a lot of build up and a lot of cool scenes with not a lot of actual payoff.
Yeah, it was not the prince that was promised, I have to say.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily refer to...
Right, to, I guess, whoever kills the Night King. I understand, but... anyway, so as far as my middle ground goes, I mean, I do appreciate the spectacle of it all, right? That's on that end. I was like, this thing delivers pretty well.
Yeah.
Like the idea of it, that it was so dark, I didn't like, because I couldn't see too well.
Where did you watch it?
I watched it on my iPad with a nice. It's got a nice screen.
But
maybe the issue is that we're all too poor and we need to have like fancier TVs to watch it on,
Like true black TV.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say, I saw Reddit posts like, I was watching on my like fancy ass, like brand new smart ass, like
I don't think
57, 69 inch like TV.
I don't
thing.
even really think it's that. I think it depends on your environment, because I watched it in a pitch black room and I didn't really have any trouble telling who the characters were.
Well, if you didn't have trouble telling, then
Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't really find that to be an issue, but there were definitely parts where it was very, very dark.
Mhm.
I think where it really got to me was trying to keep track of what dragon was doing what to Viserion. That was really, I wanted to see gory detail of that, and you got a little bit of it, but I expected more with this hype between like dragon battles.
Yeah, and then after that dragon battle, Rhaegon, is that his name? John's
Rhaegal.
dragon?
Rhaegal.
Rhaegal kind of just disappears. Like, I get that he's injured, but he just is suddenly out. I have a problem with the dragons throughout the whole episode, but maybe we'll get to that in more detail.
Yeah, so why don't we start
From the very beginning.
Yeah, actually, I want to say something.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I didn't release last week's episode in time. That it was a work thing. I just want to put that in here. That's all. This one will be released in time. Just wanted to say, unless it's not, in which case I'm sorry. But I'm pretty sure it will be. So let's get started, guys.
Okay, their battle plan. Oh, well, first of all, there was quite a bit before the battle actually starts.
Yeah.
Which I think we sort of predicted last time wouldn't happen. There would just be immediate fighting. But there was quite a lot of build-up.
Well, as far as the battle plan goes, it kind of sucked.
It did. The way that they actually formatted their stuff didn't make any sense. Why would you send the Unsullied out on their own without light, so that the you can't actually fire arrows? Why weren't there constantly raining down arrows on them? Why were they just waiting for them at this stupid trench?
I feel like Shawn, like, especially because you like those kinds of games, right? Kind of strategy games. Or am I wrong?
Well, you probably should have sent all. You should not have sent all of your horses in as your first against like that many. Like, you probably want to like just wait for them to charge at you, and then like use your horses to like hit at them like from the sides. Yeah, like thin them off.
Something that I noticed in the previous episode, I think episode 1 actually, when we have everyone around the map of Winterfell, and it's a cool scene, I thought, oh, they might actually be talking about actual battle plans, but they never really do.
Yeah.
They just talk about what they're going to do with Bran.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, he was totally useless. I mean, I think
he did not do it. Goddamn.
I think people are expecting Bran to have worked and seen some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No, but like, these are the hopeful people. They're saying, well, we don't really know what Bran was saying while he was warging or whatever. I don't think I think it's shit. I think Bran was just like flying, and that's all he was doing. He was there was this meme. There was like Bran, he was doing general bird stuff. is what the quote was. And I'm pretty sure that's all it was. I don't think like this episode has really subverted my expectations for any deeper kind of, not meaning behind things, but just any deeper kind of thought behind things.
Yeah, and I've come to accept that a long time ago, because we won't be able to get the depth that the books have.
Yeah.
Like not like without the books we just couldn't have it.
Yeah, maybe this series was a little bit ahead of its time.
My fear going forward now is that unless there's some twist, which some people are theorizing, that has to do with Bran warring or with the whites coming back in some way. Now Cersei is sort of the final thing, depending on what they do. But which is cool because, fighting an army of the dead is cool, but it's boring. Like, zombies are not entertaining things to fight. And we didn't really learn anything about what the Night King wants. He just wants to eliminate people and the history or something.
I see that. And, well, first of all, there was an episode dedicated to sort of the Night King's history, like his sort of motivation or his whole goal. That was a while back. I don't expect people to keep that in mind for everything, but I was kind of hoping that the Night King would be the peak. Mm-hmm. Because we have seen so many of these human and human battles,
and I think if it was done better, then he could have. I think something that would have been more interesting is if they lost this battle and a few of the main people had to retreat, and then both of them are coming towards Cersei, and then they all have to deal with this, and it's the political stuff combined with this need for survival. My fear now is that it seems like it's going to return to a more political-centric style, like the earlier seasons, which is cool. But I don't know if the writing's going to be as good. Yeah, and I don't know if they can facilitate that because now they've got the budget to do spectacle, but like you're right, it's missing that deeper element. And I don't know if it's gonna work out.
Well, the thing is, for this episode, I didn't even really bother writing notes because it's just
I don't little say it's actually
just
happens.
A battle, but kinda, right? Yeah. So, like, if we were to go down a list of things, it would be like a list of characters that
Grey Worm doesn't die.
Oh my god,
he does not. Gosh. Even though, okay, I think we have our small list of characters that did die, and then we have a little larger list of characters that should have died. And a lot of them should have died like at least 2 or 3 times. I'm looking at you, Jamie, and Brienne.
Yeah.
And Sam.
Yeah, for me it was Sam and Brienne because I saw Sam being surrounded by whites, like I guess instead like 17 or 27 times.
Oh my god, they are put in these situations that they should not be able to escape from, and this is what I mean by it feels like there's a lot of spectacle with not a lot of actual payoff. I mean, Jon is literally surrounded at one point on his own when he's going to fight the Night King, and he just raises the undead again. Dany is out there with Jorah. Dany, who has like never wielded a sword and is somehow holding her own against these things.
Well,
Jorah did most of the work.
No, I understand.
Let's be honest.
I understand, but I don't think that should have made sense anymore. The way that they got Dany on the ground was like the stupidest thing I've ever seen, where she just sits there watching Jon leave. It's literally the exact same thing that they did when she went north of the wall, and she was just like sitting there while Jon was being an idiot. And she's just letting the whites crawl all over Drogon. And then it's like, oh, there's a bunch of whites on me. Let me just flail around a little bit. It's like,
he got dragon fire that's not going to hurt him.
And I'm like, first of all, I thought a cool thing that they could have done is that I'm not sure, because I know in the books, Dany's not fireproof. Right,
correct.
Like that's not a thing that happens. And well, when she was, it was like a magical one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
she was
when she hatched the dragons, and even then her hair burnt off too.
Oh, really?
Not like in the show,
because she has to be sexy. It seems like in the show that she is fireproof. Like she references it several times, and presumably Jon would be too. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if they were fighting the Night King and Jon ended up in a one-on-one battle, and then the only way that she could like eliminate the Night King would be to fly in and just roast the both of them and hope that Jon survives. Like that would be cool. And then
there's no reason to presume he's fireproof because Viserys is Dany's brother.
But yes,
and he was not fireproof.
Well, he has molten gold, man. I don't know if it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
But warmer. also Viserys was like a wimp, you know. So, but that's what I mean. Like that would have been an interesting way to do it, or at least I don't know. I think it would have been better than what they did.
No, I know what you're saying. I think there's issues with that, like technical issues, but I think that would have been better than what we got. What did you guys think about the payoff with Jon? As in, to me, there was no payoff.
There wasn't. On the one hand, I'm sorry, I'm talking more. It's just on the one hand, I like that the Night King just doesn't care about him because there's not really a reason for him to, but there is. Like the Night King has seen Jon and recognized him as a threat previously, and he just totally ignores him.
I think that is because of that he raises the dead. Like, do you remember how Jon would say to Ramsay? He was like, "Let's do this one-on-one," you know?
Yeah.
And then Ramsay said, "No, if we do it your way, you win. So we're not doing it your way." And that was kind of like that.
Yeah, I think that was nonverbal. Honestly, I want to say, I wish we could have gotten some kind of spoken line from the Night King.
No.
I don't think so.
I mean,
when you have these types of characters talk, it's like
Link.
It's dangerous. Yeah.
or I wish I could maybe not spoken, because if it's done wrong, it can just ruin the character completely.
Yeah.
But if maybe something like where something that humanizes him, or like gives us some inkling of his goal, because it just seems odd to me, because it doesn't seem like George R.R. Martin's writing would have such a two-dimensional evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least one where we don't get to see their side of it. And maybe in the books we might, but I feel like if it were important enough, they would have shown at least something other than just his origin story that we got like a
Quite a
couple
while
seasons
ago.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, the Night King is just evil in the show,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's boring, because it is, because he was created by the children of the forest to take out the humans, and then I guess they kind of lost control of him, and blah 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 blah. And so he just wants to wipe out humans, because maybe that was just his original goal, which is, again, boring. But I guess within the confines of the show, it makes sense,
Yeah.
but it's boring.
Yeah. And I think that's why they're pivoting to Cersei as the end boss now, because like evil, like two-dimensional evil is pretty boring, because like people want to watch like three-dimensional like human evil, like.
But I feel like at this point, Cersei's pretty two-dimensional as well. I don't know if she'll be that much more in terms of complexity. She used to be, but
even if she is a two-dimensional human villain, is a bit more
Interesting.
a bit more interesting than a two-dimensional like by nature evil like zombie, like this is a force of against nature kind of thing.
yeah, no, I get it.
Did you guys have a favorite scene of this whole thing?
Coca-Cola.
Oh,
He's referencing this meme, which, by the way, you guys ruined the episode for me, because I hadn't watched it when you started sending memes. But this meme of, I guess it said like, I drew a portrait of Lyanna Mormont after today's episode, and it was the crushed can of Coca-Cola.
That sound effect, man.
Yeah, Lyanna, like what happened in the show, just to recap, is that this is one of the zombie giants, or maybe the only zombie giant at that point, I don't know, but he busts in Winterfell, and he just like tosses Lyanna aside, starts beating on everybody that's around there. Then Lyanna charges in all heroically,
And for some reason, instead of just killing her immediately like he's doing with everyone else, he picks her up and almost act like he's gonna eat her or something. Is the way it's framed, and then she gets to stab him in the eye.
Yeah, thanks for taking the punchline from me.
Well, I just wanted to portray it more negatively than I thought you were going to.
Yeah, I liked her send off.
yeah. I think that's the only way that like she could have gotten a send off, is something like that.
Yeah, and people online were praising the Mormont
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
I liked them, like
Yeah.
towards the end, and how it all played out for them. Which, I mean, they died, but I mean, like, I liked their send off. It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys have a worst scene?
I never got to say my favorite scene.
Oh, that's right. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No, we didn't. None of us did.
Yeah, none of us did.
Oh,
I did.
Yeston?
I did.
Oh.
I was more joking though, but
So, Shawn.
You know, I really, really liked the very first scene with the Dothraki just riding out with
That was- yeah.
all on fire, and then you just see them slowly but surely go out.
as little sense as that battle plan made,
It
that was a
was-
great scene.
Yeah.
That really and I would say the beginning of the battle is the best part of it, when they're just getting decimated,
Mhm.
and you think, wow, this might actually, like, what if they actually win?
Yeah.
What if the Night King wins?
And you know, I was thinking about it, like just their strategy of luring the Night King to Bran, And I was like, afterwards, I was like, why was I getting so worried? Because, like, that was their plan all along. It was to, like, pretty much, like, to get the Night King to Bran, they'd have to lose pretty much the entire castle. Like,
it doesn't make a lot of sense.
But it doesn't make a lot of sense, because, like, if they fuck up, like, they're still surrounded by, like, billions and bajillions of undeads.
Undeads.
And then I guess what they were, I don't know I don't understand why they weren't using the dragons immediately, because I think the logic is that, well, we don't want to put them out immediately because we know that the Night King can take them out. So instead we're going to just have them sit here literally. And it's like, this doesn't make any sense.
No.
And the freaking like Night King posse or his generals.
They didn't. Where were they?
Don't do anything.
Oh, they were somewhere. I mean, you saw them, right? They were like towards the forest, just kind of watching.
Yeah.
That's it.
The scene where they are fighting above the clouds visually is very nice.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
But the way that they sort of got rid of the dragons was stupid. With this like
the
fog.
ice storm.
Yeah. And I think at one time even Jon lands on Winterfell, but then he just leaves, and like the whole thing is, well, we need the trench to be lit, and it's like, just fly down. It's not that complicated. This is not that big of an area. There's no way you're just flying around in circles, crashing into each other this whole time.
But they did crash into
I
each
know.
other.
Yeah.
And I was fine with that once, even though I would expect
in the fog, like, yeah.
I would expect that the dragons would have some sort of biological
Or olfactory.
sensor. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's fine. But for them to be gone for that long, presumably literally just flying around in the fog doing absolutely nothing, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. My favorite scene would have had to be when Sandor snaps out of it to go save Arya. And I'm only saying that because you guys already took the Dothraki scene from me. So that was my second favorite. And I really liked it because like it just shows how much he cares. And I like that about him. But besides that, like, it was hard to follow exactly what the characters were. I mean, they kind of focused in a couple of them, and they did show whoever died, but you could never tell. Like, I wasn't, like we've said before, I wasn't sure if Sam had already died or not. Wasn't sure if Grey Worm had died. That kind of thing. And that's kind of the upsetting thing, because in the after talk of the show, they said, oh, we wanted to focus on where the characters were. And that didn't come across at all, you know? And
that happens with a lot of characters where they will cut away right before they're about to get swarmed. It happens with John, and it happens with Danny, and it happens with everyone in a way that visually it looks like there's no way they're making this out of it. And then that's where the plot armor comes in.
Yeah.
They also have experienced at this point like some power crawl, I would say, and maybe it could be justified through magical means, but when you first see Viserion with the Night King, he's way more powerful than he is now. Like when he shoots down the wall, it's like this huge blast of like ice magic fire, and now it's just these little spurts in comparison.
Yeah, that barely knocked down one of the Winterfell walls.
Yeah, and then Jon is like hiding behind a 2-foot wall against this stuff, and it's like, what? No. It felt like the dragons were really poorly used, like they didn't know how to deal with them in a battle situation.
I would have liked to see more giants fighting stuff.
Yeah.
We barely got any of them.
I wanted ice spiders.
I heard about that. Yeah.
No ice spiders.
Well, they even mentioned them, right? Or it was a story by Nan. Right?
Yeah, they mentioned them as like White Walkers riding ice spiders or something like that in like the stories by Nan, but it never came to pass, unfortunately.
And
they could have at least had an ice polar bear in there.
They did.
I know, but they could have brought it back.
Yeah. The crypts were not the safest place in Winterfell.
No.
Okay, here's what I wanted to happen, because they have this really dramatic scene, and again I thought, are they going to do it? But now, at this point, I'm like, I thought this is the last season. They're going to start killing people again. They're not. They're not really killing important characters. I feel like the show has lost its balls. I think it would have been phenomenal if, like, Tyrion killed Sansa right before they brought down the Night King. And then he realized he didn't have to, because they were, like, going to do a double suicide. And I thought, oh, wow, what if one of them actually dies in this way? Like, that would be so dramatic and heartbreaking. And it didn't.
Yeah, I definitely thought they were both gonna kill each other, but I was surprised when I realized that they were gonna like go out and fight instead. Not, but I would have liked to seen like one of those Crips just come out and just headless Nedless comes out, starts grabbing at Sansa or something like that.
That would have been crazy. But I think, I mean, his body got cut up and stuff, and they probably burned him too. I guess I could see why they didn't, but I agree with you.
You notice the crypts, at least, I mean, you could argue that the Night King has more planning than this, but the only reason that the dead in the crypts came to life was because he was raising them for Jon, like dealing with him. It wasn't even like a strategy of his.
Yeah, it was just like he was raising all the dead in the area, and that just happened to be some of the dead in the area. They just weren't killed by him anytime recently.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some of the deaths. Like the first death, Ed.
Yeah, because Sam was a stupid idiot.
Sam. Like, I'm glad Sam didn't die, but god damn it, Sam, you had to kill Ed.
Yeah. And then he was about to do the same thing to Jon. He was calling for Jon, and Jon was like looking, and he was like, "No, you are dead."
Yeah. No, Jon makes the decision to like leave him behind. He's like, "This is not important."
Yeah. And Sam was just stabbing like on the ground.
He was just like stabbing. Trying his best.
I just kept crawling and it kept working. Wait, who else died? Lyanna died.
Not a lot of people.
Yeah,
Jorah died defending Dany.
That's it.
No,
Ghost was killed by the CGI budget.
Lives.
But I know he is alive, but he just never came back.
Yeah, he never came back. Who was it? Obviously not Theon. I'm avoiding him.
Yeah, we'll get to him.
Shoot, I feel like I'm missing someone. Beric Dondarrion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Died defending Arya, sort of.
Did you guys see the meme?
Holding the door. He was holding the door.
Yeah.
So he was what did the meme say? He was like Beric the Beric.
Oh my god. Hold on, I actually have a screenshot of all the deaths. Ed, Beric, Lyanna, Theon, Jorah, the Night King, and Melisandre. Those are the only main characters that died.
And Melisandre was just like that meme.
Melisandre
like,
pulled a freaking
she pulled an Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Yeah. I was surprised to see her show up at the very beginning, you know?
Yeah, I called it. I mean, sort of.
Yeah, like it was not surprising, but it was surprising at the same time.
Okay, what is all this crap about them making dragonglass weapons and then none of the Dothraki have any dragonglass and she just happens to show up and make them on fire?
Well, I guess they needed it for the arrows that they never used.
Jesus. I mean, on the one hand, like my thing was, well, maybe they don't know how to craft the swords that the Dothraki use. That makes sense. But like, they were literally just going to have them go into battle armed with their normal swords, which is what they have. She just happens to show up and make them all fiery.
There were some writing issues. There was...
You know what this feels like? Sorry to interrupt. This feels like they came up with a bunch of cool ideas, which there are, but they had no idea how to put them together into an actual cohesive sequence.
Is anyone else bothered by the fact that the two writers are treated like rock stars?
Oh, yeah. I really don't think like they should get as much credit as they do. Like they do deserve credit. Like mind you, like what they're doing is not easy. But
I think they are great at taking existing material and effectively transmuting it to screen. Because I think those early seasons are really good. You're taking a very complicated book with a lot of backstory, and you are condensing it down into something digestible, and they do that very well.
But not when they have to branch off on their own.
Yeah.
So they're like arrangers, not composers.
I thought it was interesting that they sort of brought Arya down a peg for a second where she was freaking out.
Well, I mean, I think it was kind of like the concussion, like she got whacked on the head.
Yeah, exactly. And then she was, she was not at 100% anymore. She kind of had to just survive.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the last scene. Theon's
death was stupid. It was the stupidest crap. As I said, he needs to die to fulfill his arc.
And they just took you to heart.
But like, there's a way to do it, guys. There's a way to do it. It's like when John's uncle, what's his name? The guy
Benjen.
When Benjen dies for no reason, they're on a horse and the walkers are like yards and yards away, and he's like, "Go on my horse. There's no time." And it's like, Yes, there is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
And
like,
then John stops and he's like, "There's no time."
I know. And it's like, here's the deal. If you want these characters to die like this, then that is fine. But you need to direct it in a way where it actually makes sense. Because the way that shot was shot, it didn't make any sense that he actually had to die. And the same with Theon. Bran is literally like, let me tell you the words so that your arc can be completed, and then you can die now.
I would have liked it more if like the Night King just kind of ominously like walked up and Theon was like just guarding him with his life, and then Theon goes to like attack him as he gets close. Then he kills him. Like at least make it look like Theon didn't just run to his death. Look like he died defending.
And from a strategic point of view, it would have been better for him to stay at least somewhat close to Bran, because he's just killing himself at this point, and he's not serving a purpose at all.
Yeah, I wonder what they were thinking about. And I don't think it's a director. It's a directing choice. It's a writing thing.
To be fair,
A little bit of both, probably.
They did see that they're surrounded not just by like hundreds and hundreds of whites, but like the White Walkers as well, like all of Craster's kids.
Okay, so Theon did not need to die, because if he'd waited a little bit longer, maybe it wouldn't have played out the same. But he could have.
Jesus.
You did not even hold back, Shawn.
No, sorry. Sometimes you just don't see him coming out. Go ahead.
I was thinking, wow, what if Theon, tries to buy time here, and that's when we get some explanation of the Night King.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if he just like, hey, why are you doing this, bro? Like, maybe not that he really cares, but he's just like, I have to do something that is actually useful, so let me try to buy time or something like that. But
yeah, and he actually had like a decent kill streak. Like he would have been good in the battle against Cersei. Which, whatever. I want to see what Yara says about Theon's death.
Oh, I was thinking that when they're zooming in on Theon's corpse, I was thinking, I thought he was like about to get up, like not in like in zombie mode, but I thought he was like about to get up in defiance and like stab the Night King from behind or something, kind of like going out with like his final act was like killing the Night King. And
see, now that would have been a twist I could get behind.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been cool.
That would have been a Lyanna Mormont times 2. I mean, like they would have done that same thing twice in this episode.
Okay, well then do it different with Lyanna. I'm just saying, I think it would be really interesting if they actually had Theon, because they're not having Jon kill him. So at this point, it doesn't even matter that much.
Did you guys see the interview where Jon was upset? Well, Kit Harington was upset about not being the one to kill the Night King.
Was he sarcastically upset though?
No, I think he was legitimately upset. Mm-hmm. He wanted to, and I think it is stupid. I would have preferred it that he killed him, honestly, because they kept going to him chasing the Night King. And I thought, oh, he's going to get there. He's going to, like, do something. But he was just running around, and, like, he Fusro Dad, the dragon, which, by the way, that's a Skyrim reference, Yestin. I don't know if you got that.
Of course. Who do you think I am? I'm literally playing that game right now.
I know, but you're kind of a noob at it, so I thought maybe you didn't know.
Yeah, I think that whole scene could have been done better. And then Arya comes. When did you know that she was going to kill him?
For me at least, they did a pretty good job of the you don't think about where this character has been for a while. And like I didn't connect like when Cersei said like, or not Cersei, when Melisandre said like brown eyes, green eyes, blue eyes. I didn't really connect that to the Night King. Like I just figured like Arya is like going out there to go keep on fighting, like that.
They have a view of the Night King's posse, and like the wind blows, and at that point I was like, oh, because she says her whole thing about how not today, and then she runs out, and she hadn't been seen up till now, and I'm like, there's not going to be anything after this scene, so this is probably what's going to happen, because they're making a big deal about her sneaking around.
I mean, this is the thing. Like every one of us could say, "Oh, if I were directing this end scene, what I would have it end like this." I mean, we can all say that, and like all of ours we could think ours could be good and cool, but in reality, it could be really crap. Who knows?
Sure,
but
no one's ever going to be 100% satisfied with it.
But this is my what I expected. What I was expected was going to go down. I thought that there's going to be some kind of understanding or communication, maybe not verbal like speaking, but between Bran and the Night King, and maybe either Bran was going to somehow heal the Night King, or for a moment I thought like that Bran was about to be turned into the Night King or something.
Mm-hmm. Like the Night King absorbs him or something.
Yeah, or something like that. And then that's when Arya Stark started flying out the dark.
Hey, I'll put that on a shirt.
I didn't even intend for that. That's good. But yeah, I was expecting it to end a bit more diplomatically, because I figured like that there's no way they could win at that point. Like they had to have the Night King get there, and like they had to rest their plan on Bran. There's another rhyme. God damn it.
No, but Bran, I don't know what they were planning to do with him this season, but I just think they don't know what to do with him.
Too big of a plot hole. He's a plot hole like with the density of a black hole, because like it like when you introduce someone that can see everything everywhere, like forever, always and never, like it's pretty difficult to like contain that when they know, because like you can just say that Bran didn't worry that entire time because he was just waiting for Arya to fly out, and like he was just like chilling, like sup dude,
he
like,
does,
you got like 5 4 3 2 oh, and there's Arya, like
he does give her the dagger earlier.
Yeah, like there's definitely foreshadowing of it. Like it's not like it was just completely unforeshadowed whatsoever.
But then again, can Bran see the future, or is he just guessing really well? Like,
we talked about this last time.
I know. It's still unclear.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to explain it. They don't have the time. They don't have
Probably
the
not.
interest.
I think that it should have been Jon Snow that kills the Night King with Arya's dagger and help from Theon. That way, Theon's death would have actually had more meaning. Arya would still be involved. The dagger that started the whole plot, well, at least the plot within the south of Westeros, would still be involved, but it would be Jon, maybe with help from Dany, and a dragon that kills him. And I think that having such a huge cumulative plot point that has been building up for so many seasons be ended by this one character who doesn't really have a lot to do with the plot point in one attack. Nothing else before this mattered, right? It feels unsatisfying.
I saw people defending this, saying that yes, Arya has been training a long time. She's this like really deadly silent killer, that she is literally facing death, and she trained with the like god of death and whatnot. I mean, if you defend it like that, it makes sense, but it's not as obvious as they make it seem. And if it's gonna be good, it has to be a little bit more obvious than that.
I think the reason it doesn't feel obvious is because like she was so disconnected from the Night King story for the entire time. Like she was off like getting kidnapped, and then like now she's in Bravos learning to be a faceless man, and look, now she's killing random lords, and then now all of a sudden, oh, she's killing the Night King, which was Jon's entire storyline. But I wonder if like, because when George R.R. Martin first started writing this series, he intended it to be 3 books. And the rough draft illustrated points such as like I think it was Jon Snow falling in love with Arya essentially was like one of the end points. And so like I'm wondering if that, because Jon Snow's main story was against like the others and the Night King, I wonder if like that was one of the things that was just written so long ago, that like Arya was written to be the person who kills the Night King from the very beginning, that if it's like one of those kind of
Maybe.
Maybe it's something that George R. R. Martin it could stay the same, obviously, or it could be different. Like, we have no idea how different the books from the show is going to be once the books are done, but I wonder how much.
So just that the idea of Arya killing the Night King might have been around for a long time, but the way in which that develops has changed drastically.
Yeah.
So she still kills him now, even though it doesn't make as much sense as maybe it did in an earlier version of the storyline.
With more of that context.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, that's possible. But because it does feel weird. It feels unsatisfying. John didn't really do much this episode.
Another way I could have seen it ending was kind of like how we had the Tower of Joy, where Ned Stark and Howland Reed, like Ned Stark was fighting off against the dude, and then at the very end, Howland Reed stabs him in the back. I could have seen that happening with John and then Arya coming out killing a distracted, or even Sam.
But see, that's the thing. I think to take out this grand of a force that they've built up, I think it needs to be at least more than one person. Because what the Undone does really doesn't matter. What John and Dany do really doesn't matter. It's just that one attack from Arya, and it feels unsatisfying. And I think that if they had split that between several of the major characters, then I think it would have been a lot better. Well, one more thing. We should point out that the move Arya used to kill the Night King is the same one she used on Brienne last season when they were sparring.
Oh, and there was also some poetry in Arya killing the Night King, because there was a little girl that was part of the Children of the Forest that stabbed the Night King to turn him into the Night King. And it was a little girl who stabbed them to kill him.
Still does not justify the decision.
No. I mean,
Lyanna Mormont.
They threw out all these theories that people were talking about in ASOIF. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, I got it right. All those people were talking about theories about Azor Ahai, and there was all this other crap. Oh yeah, the writers didn't give a about any of that, which I guess they have a right to do, but something would have been better than this.
For being positive on this episode, Shawn, you're pretty
agreeable.
Yeah, you're pretty much agreeing with all these negative points.
I mean, I think there definitely are flaws to it, but I mean that doesn't mean it's not good.
I enjoyed the episode on its own. I just hate what it represents, and I hate where it leaves the show. I feel like at this point it is totally watered down in a way that I hope this season would, not be.
Some criticism that I saw of the show was that they treated the long night as a distraction from the Game of Thrones, and it was argued that in the books, the Game of Thrones was being used as a distraction to the long night. And I think I would have preferred the latter.
Yeah.
The book version. Because this just seems a little bit more drama-y. And, it has to be character-centered, but maybe not to this extent.
The whole of Westeros will not know the fury of the White Walkers. It'll just become this northern myth that no one really believes, because the Northerners are crazy.
Yeah.
It feels like they could have had more of an effect on the whole continent.
I guess what I'm really hyped for now
is Clegane Bowl. Yeah, it can still happen now.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Get hype.
I mean, we said that if Sandor lives, it's gonna happen, and I'm 99% sure it's gonna happen. Any final thoughts?
Clegane Bowl, get hype.
Now there's no chance that the Night King turns the mountain into a walker. Unless there is, because I have seen people theorizing that Bran warging out for the whole episode was not without its purpose, and that the Whites might return in some way.
I'm pretty sure it's without purpose.
Probably.
Well, I'm wondering what they're going to fill the rest of the season with.
Well, I want to know what Bran's going to do for the rest of the season. What?
He's going to do what he's been doing so far, just sitting around every once in a while.
Why did anyone bother talking? Why did Tyrion bother talking to him? It just seems like there's too many questions to answer left for the last episodes.
Yeah,
they're not going to cover all of that.
We'll see.
Guys, I said this episode has thrown my faith in these little in closing the little details out the window.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. I don't think that anything's going to come out of Bran. I think we can theorize now after watching this episode, like what's going to happen.
You want to know what I think?
Yes.
I think that's exactly how the books are going to be.
No, you don't.
No, I think that there's not going to be the closure that like a lot of people want from the books. And I think that like they've said things along the lines like people have said like either it's a coherent story that like makes sense all the way to the end, or it's something that like it's a little bittersweet to like people won't like it. And like I definitely imagine that there's going to be a lot of people that don't like it.
The books.
Just both.
Okay.
Just both the way it ends.
I think that at this point, like he's talked about how he doesn't read fan fiction, and I wonder how much of an effect the show will have on the writing of the books in the future, the writing of the final one.
Well, because George R. R. Martin had a hand in writing the final episodes.
Yeah.
So he had to have approved it, all of this.
Yeah.
But I wonder if he can set the show and the books apart at this point.
And that's what I'm saying. Like how much of that show essence will influence the preceding books.
So I guess this was kind of a negative episode. Are we going to theorize? You said stuff about the books, but do you have anything to add about the show, the last few episodes of the show?
Theorizing, I don't know.
They still got the whole Golden Company thing to work out. Like that's a whole nother element that we know nothing about at this point.
It's just another army.
I'm hoping that on their way down they f*** up the Karstarks for being f***ing
No, the Karstarks were
disloyal
good.
assholes.
You're talking about the Glovers.
The Glovers, yeah, whatever his name is.
Wait, who's the glove? Who are
The dude
Glovers?
who's like who first of all said f*** you to Jon Snow the first time, and then like afterwards he was like, oh yeah, the King of the North, and then like as soon as like they're like, hey, come to Winterfell because we're defending against the end of the world, he was like, nah, I'm good, peace out, bro.
It's because of Danny. I mean, there's something to that,
but he's still.
But can they even get the Glovers with like the
I hope
18 people
can.
they have left?
No, they got enough. They still
They
got
got two dragons.
two dragons
and a
still,
dire wolf.
apparently.
So any theories for you, Yeston?
It's not going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see what they do because I'm like they have this like crazy platform to stand on. How badly can they mess it up now?
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. I don't.
Okay. Well, I'd like to expand on it just for a little bit. So let's just talk about what there is to consider. You guys feel free to chime in. This doesn't have to just be my prediction. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. There is the island, the Greyjoy Island. What's that called?
The Iron
Iron
Islands.
Islands.
Oh,
yeah.
oops. It's called the Iron Island. The Iron Island, there is Bronn, right?
Yeah.
Bronn still has to play a part. He's coming up to kill Tyrion
and or Jaime.
or Jaime.
Here's what's going to happen with that. Bronn's going to come to their camp. They're going to treat him badly. He's going to get Tyrion and Jaime, and he's going to say, yeah, she told me to kill you. That's crazy. Here's your crossbow. Of course, I'm helping you because I care about you. And that's what's going to happen with him. And then he's going to be on their side. I don't predict anything more interesting than that. As for the Iron Islands, they're going to fly over there and recruit them again and say, hey, we defeated the Night King. There's going to be a sad moment where Daenerys tells what's her name, Yara, that Theon died, and he's going to be like, well, that's so unfortunate, but at least he redeemed himself. And then Bran's going to chime in and be like, he was a good man. And then they're going to fly or sail the rest of their ships over to King's Landing, and then they're going to attack them.
Yeah, actually, that's where I was kind of going to go. And then the last episode being whoever's left settling into their new normal.
No one will sit on the Iron Throne. They'll establish a democracy.
I don't think so.
No way. But that'd be interesting.
We're ending this episode in a kind of sour note, unless anyone has anything to add.
No.
Clegane Bowl's going to happen.
Get hype.
Arya's going to kill the mountain. Calling it.
No.
Get hype.
Hell no. It's got to be...
Clegane Bowl will happen, and the mountain will be about to be killed, and Arya will jump in and kill him and kill. I'm sorry, the Hound. What's his name?
Yeah, that's
Clegane. He's gonna.
Well, they're both Clegane.
Yeah, he's gonna. The Hound will be about to die, and Arya will jump in and kill the Mountain.
That's how actually every death on the show from now on out is gonna go.
Yes,
like
Arya
Arya
will
is
kill
just
them
gonna
all.
jump out from the shadows.
But I
and
do
kill
think
her.
I do think that would work, because then it would be Arya repaying her debt to him.
I don't think so. It's gotta be. It's been a. Well, Jon has been building up to kill the Night King, and they took that
Yeah,
away
and
from
that
him,
didn't
so
happen. So
I was gonna say that the Hound has been building up to kill up his brother since childhood, but that might not happen. I still think it'll happen. I'm holding out hope for that one.
Do you think Jon's gonna end on the Iron Throne?
I wonder if they foreshadowed anything, because they've kind of laid out these clues for episode 3.
I mean, in the very first episode of this podcast, we talked about like Dany's vision of the throne from way back in season 1 or 2.
Yeah, but clearly they don't give a
and
about past episodes.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm thinking.
I really like the scene with Sansa and Tyrion again.
You think they're gonna get married again?
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know, but I just like them. I just like seeing them in the scenes again.
It reminds me,
especially
of when
now that they've changed.
It reminds me of when the show was good.
Did you guys see that tweet from T-Pain saying like, "My girl Arya, someone get her some premium." Pod is just like, he survived.
Jesus.
All right, time for Off the Throne, guys. I'm a fan of Game of Thrones music, and 2 colleagues of mine, they're a married couple, came out with a dueling piano cover of the Game of Thrones theme, and they made it's a pretty good cover. I really enjoyed it of their Game of Thrones theme. They're both dressed up very nice, and it's a very showy piano piece, and that is my recommendation.
So I'm gonna recommend a video called "The Evolution of Tyrion Lannister." It's under the channel The Lumberjack, and this is just basically an hour of just Tyrion Lannister, all the way from season 1 up till I think it goes to season 7, and then nothing from season 8.
All of his scenes.
Basically, almost all of his scenes, all the really good ones. I forgot how much I missed Tywin Lannister. He was a great character too, because he's in a lot of scenes with Tyrion. It's just, and again, I've been watching more stuff from the older seasons, and it doesn't look as good.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing looks as good, but the writing is just so much better, and the nature of the plot is so much more interesting, and it's less cheesy and cartoony. I'm sorry.
All good.
But it made me remember Tyrion very fondly.
Yeah, Tywin would have been a great last bad guy.
I'm going to recommend the subreddit r/imaginary Westeros, and it's a subreddit full of Game of Thrones inspired artwork. It's really cool. It's by both the books and the show. And it's really cool just to see everybody's different takes on a lot of these characters and scenes, especially when they take like, say, random like, here's one that's it's Night King Tyrion. Like,
that's very cool. We'll link that in the show notes. Did you guys see the artwork of the 2 Mormonts that were left? Where it was Jorah Mormont, this really tall dude, his back was towards the, your view, and right in front of him, right behind him, in front of his back, it was Lyanna Mormont, very small but looking fierce.
Did
you guys see that artwork?
No.
It was really good, really well done. Have you guys also seen the subreddit called Golly?
That I have seen. When Arya's sneaking around, and there's this very tense scene, and she rounds a corner, and there's like a little girl walker that she just stabs in the throat immediately. They should have just made it Ollie. just as a callback. It would have been hilarious.
Just fan service, yeah.
Yeah, because everyone wanted Ollie to come back so that he could get killed again.
Yeah.
And it didn't have to be a big thing, but it would have been really funny if they actually did throw him in there.
but they would have burned the dead. They would have burned Ollie at the Night's Watch. They would have burned them all.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, well, it's obviously we don't care about the past seasons, so
It would have
might as well go all the way with it.
It would have been interesting to see an undead Hodor,
No,
but I think that might have been too much.
that would have upset me. Did you guys also see the subreddit called Things Jon Snow Knows?
Yeah, there's
It's just
nothing there.
empty.
Hodor would have been interesting, but there's no one that cares about Hodor anymore. Maybe Sansa.
Pardon.
I mean, there's no characters that would be there to react to him.
Oh, like characters
Yes.
in the show.
Like Bran obviously
Bran
wouldn't.
I mean,
Yeah.
they'd know. Some of them would know that that's Hodor, but
I don't.
Jon would.
Yeah, but I don't think it'd be like a big thing. Or
no,
anything.
probably not.
It'd be cool though. Very sad.
Well, that closes it out for this episode. It's funny how there was more to talk about in an episode where nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like
It
no action
sucked.
happened.
Yeah.
Episode 2. What you're saying that this last episode sucked?
Yeah, not impressed.
There were its good moments, but for the most part, I agree with you.
People love that score.
I'm gonna give
The
it a
piano
good 8.7 out of 10.
That's way too generous.
What about you?
7.2.
4.6.
Wow. Harsh.
Episode 3 was a 6.8. I'm sorry, episode 2 was a 6.8, and episode 1 was like a 5.
Yikes. All right. I guess my rating scale is a little different. Anyway, we're tired today.
Yeah, it's late.
All right. Well, that closes out then. Let's pack up, guys.